I'm good at hopscotch, drinking scotch, swimming, making pepperoni bread, giving driving advice. What else? Oh, yeah, and dancing.
What are these now?
Just some of my strengths.
Welcome to the Career Corrective, your career lifeline that gives you laugh lines with Jenny and Allie.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Today, we are kicking off our 3-part series about advocating for yourself at work. It can be at home, too. Doesn't just have to be at work, but we're going to tell you all about it.
Yes, it's a good start, right? Starting at work.
Right. Kick your boss's ass, not your spouse's.
Advocate. Right, exactly. And then you can kick your spouse's ass.
We chose violence today.
This is the day. Yes. Let's do this. Yay. We know you, our amazing listeners, could have some trouble saying no or taking care of your needs. So this series is to help you become unstoppable because you deserve it.
They totally do.
They
I
do.
was thinking, so we've come up with the name Anxious Achievers for our listeners, and I always am talking to all of you, and I'll say, you all, you guys, our Anxious Achievers, our listeners, and I want to come up with a better nickname. So I need you all to write into us to say, basically, I want to talk to you as if you're right here, because I feel like you're right here.
Yes.
And there's no suggestion that's off limits. Whatever you want to be called, we'd love to hear from you. Jenny, are you ready for our first taste test?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay. It's not Greek yogurt. We're going to taste
shocked.
86 brands of Greek yogurt, one by one. They're
We're
all
gonna
plain.
get tummy aches after.
We might even go into the Swiss Alps, maybe for some Alps yogurt.
I don't know if I'll have enough time.
Okay. All right. Then we'll just do
Cover
the
all
question.
these yogurts.
We could do Go-Gurts. Those are for on the
Oh,
go.
those are wonderful.
Okay. Review over. Go-Gurts are wonderful.
It's like a shot of yogurt.
Right.
Yes.
Friday night, we're doing Go-Gurt shots.
I'm doing hard. I'm going hard on the Go-Gurt shots.
I had a rough week. I'm doing like 6 Go-Gurt shots tonight.
I'll do the blueberry ones too. Don't even try me.
I'll put that so fast on my side of cereal, little Go-Gurt on the side. Then I'm going to dance like it's Friday. We're really going to taste test for you, though, the Quest chips. Quest protein. We talk about protein all the time because of our obsession with Greek yogurt. And we thought, we're not going to be able to cook for all of you, which we'd love to do. So why don't we talk about food that you can also try?
Right. And you can make a Greek yogurt dip. Or the Quest chips. How about that?
That's an amazing idea. I love.
Yeah. All right. So let's taste them.
Okay. Let's start with what do you think? Do you want to start with the ranch? Ranch is a pretty universal flavor.
Love ranch.
All right. And we're not going to chew in your ear. We're respectful of you. We love you. We wouldn't do that to you.
So rude.
It's rude. Okay.
Okay.
Flavor-wise, if you lick this chip and you're just going for flavor, let's just start there.
Right. Just the initial lick.
Exactly. It's a nice flavor dancing on my taste buds.
Your buds, yes.
Yeah. However,
it's like
when you bite in, I'm getting cardboard. I'm getting dirt. Just off the top of my head. What do you?
See, I like them. I think they're tangy, a little tang. I think they're nice.
Yeah, I would probably lick these.
And then discard. It's a lick and discard.
Unless I put the whole bowl of dip on each one
Well, I think you should try it next time.
as a dip vehicle. Also, let's talk about cost. I got a box of 8.
Oh, you got the box?
I know. What was I thinking going straight?
That's like committing to a...
Got 8 bags of cardboard for my work week snacks. It's $22.99. Let's just say $25, and you get 8 in the. Whoa, that's around $3 a bag, and it's a personal sized bag.
Oh my Garland.
When you buy them one at a time, it doesn't hurt so much. But
That's right.
so the benefit is that there is protein in there, and if you want a little crunch,
Yeah, what if you broke them up and put them in a taco salad or something like that?
that probably would be better. Maybe a
Right?
different flavor will help.
All right, let's try a different one.
Okay, we'll go with a classic nacho cheese. So these are the alternatives to Doritos. That was Cool Ranch, and this is now the classic.
I'm nervous because I love the Doritos nacho cheese. So, I mean,
It's never going to measure
it's
up.
never. It's not. It's not.
No.
All right, I'll try.
Let's give it a taste.
It's a little off. Nice way of putting it. I was expecting a Dorito, but I know it's not. I mean, I'll eat them. I'll crunch them up on a salad.
These to me are better. They're in no way, shape, or form are you getting your Dorito fix from these. Obviously,
Right.
that's a dream. You're gonna a dream you'll never see come true.
That's right.
But to me, they're a little bit more satisfying than the ranch, and I think that's just the personal flavor. Like the cardboard isn't coming through as much for me on these.
Yeah, I agree. I like these better than the ranch.
How sad is it if you really take a step back at this and think, I'm going to pay $3 a bag. It doesn't take too much like cardboard, all to get the protein. I mean, it seems a little silly when you think of
Just
it.
stick with the yogurt or the cottage cheese.
I do have high hopes for our final flavor.
Me too.
I don't know, but
Oh,
I've
taco.
heard good things about this one.
Yeah. Okay.
It's loaded taco. And for some reason, oh yeah, the purple reminds me of the colors of Taco Bell.
Yeah, which I love. What am I getting, a Crunch Wrap? Am I getting
Which-
Crunch Wrap vibes with this?
I love me a bean burrito from Taco Bell.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Well, I had in high school. The last time I had one.
So
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. It was good then at 16.
Oh, it's still good.
We used to go there after school and like bean burrito with all the toppings bar because
All the
that's really
fixins.
what?
All the fixins.
Yeah, all my fixins. That's why that's life for me is all the condiments.
Yeah. No, it's a good way to be.
And this one is loaded taco tortilla chips. So I'm hopeful. Very hopeful.
Same. Okay.
Okay,
I want to
let's
eat.
try-
Why do I
Oh.
taste lettuce? I taste lettuce.
You do not. Do you? Get right out of here.
It's like Willy Wonka. That little candy that's a 7-course meal.
Oh my God. I don't taste lettuce, but I will say I like these.
I love them. This is their best flavor by far. Yeah,
Something about this is delicious.
it's delish. They did it right. All the spices.
Maybe it's because the flavor is so well-rounded, robust.
Yeah,
It hides the
their best chip.
cardboard.
Best
What?
chip. Best chip.
Quest chip, best chip.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys want to use that, but
they should.
yeah,
Delish.
that's our final one. I don't know if that was helpful, but maybe we could save you all if you did want to try a protein chip. Maybe start with the loaded taco because out of the 3 we tasted,
It's really my fave. Yeah.
it's really my fave. Wow. If there's anything you all want us to taste because you've had it and you think it's great, or you don't want to buy it and you want us to do it for you, we're in.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm going to go buy more.
Me too, of the taco.
Yes. You can give your nachos to someone, you know?
Yeah, those will be in my Halloween giveaways next year. Ooh, a stale cardboard chip. Definitely going back to that house.
Yeah, really. It's like giving out apples or raisins. Oh my goodness.
Should we get into it?
Sure. Let's do it. We're going to advocate the heck out of this.
Yay.
I gathered info online and I thought we could chat about it and see what we think.
Well, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right?
Yes. Totally. All right. I'm going to keep you on your toes. Today's topic is how your work life can be affected if you don't self-advocate.
The dangers.
This is very dangerous. The first one is emotional burnout and stress. So here's what can happen. Suppressing your feelings and tolerating poor treatment can lead to chronic stress and emotional exhaustion. And guess what, Allie? There's a consequence for that.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Long-term stress can harm your mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and even physical symptoms like headache and fatigue.
All right, let's think about an example. You're
Okay.
at work.
Mm-hmm.
You're understaffed. There's not enough people to cover the needs of the business at the time, and they're asking you to work overtime. So you think, I'll help out. I'll
Great. I'm a team
work
player.
overtime.
Yeah.
Yes. And then it turns into they're asking you more than other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you struggle with it, but you keep saying yes. In a different work setting, it could be a project where there's not enough people to get the work done, and you're always being asked to do extra. In the vein of being a good team player, you're saying yes. This turns into months later. You're exhausted. You're irritable. You don't like work, and you feel trapped because now you've set the precedent that you're the one to step up.
Right.
It's helpful to remember in this topic of self-advocacy that not advocating for yourself can start out as a positive trait. The fact that you're a team player is awesome.
Yes.
That's great about you. But if you let that compromise your well-being and you don't do something about it, in that case, advocate for yourself, you're going to suffer. Something that's helped me and other people that I've helped with this is at a certain point, you have to say, I can either advocate for myself or them. It becomes an us-them situation.
Right. Yes.
And if you're always the one stepping up and you're tired and exhausted, then you're advocating for them at your demise.
I feel that. Yes. In that scenario, what could you do to advocate for yourself?
Talking to yourself about the big picture. When you're not advocating for yourself, you are talking yourself into it. The team, they are understaffed. Anytime you're doing that, you're talking yourself into your action.
Right.
And I would say, let's flip it. So they are overstaffed, flip it. But I'm also tired, but I also have other things to take care of. But I. It can be really easy in being the team player to put yourself last.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't make a different choice the first time you flip it, at least you're looking at the other side of it to wake yourself up. Let's extend this into a real world scenario. If your culture's not great and your boss will take advantage, now you've got the perfect recipe for disaster. If you're going to talk yourself into being the giver and they're a taker, then you're going to lose every time.
Absolutely.
So flip it is number one.
Okay. Flip it good.
Well, what do you think of that, Jenny? Could that help you look at it from the other way, which would be your
Right.
view?
Make it about you. Okay. I love that. All right. The second one is erosion of self-confidence. So here's what can happen. Repeatedly suppressing your voice or needs can make you feel powerless and insignificant. The consequence is that this can snowball into self-doubt, making it even harder to assert yourself in the future, creating a vicious cycle of silence.
Let's say you're in your performance review.
Okay.
You receive feedback that you don't think is true. Your boss tells you you're not solutions oriented enough. And you can think of 3 things off the top of your head that you solved last week that people didn't have a solution for, knowing this is actually a strength of yours, but you say nothing. When you don't resolve that conversation in the performance review, and of course there's a way to go about that, but it stays with you. And over time, you'll start to second guess your abilities. Maybe I'm not solution oriented enough. Were they right? Even though you know you're capable, it's going to start to creep in. And then you're going to be less likely to speak up, less likely to come up with those creative solutions. And if you have them, you'll dismiss them before you ever say them. So slowly, you're going to be disengaged. It said the consequence is creating a vicious cycle of silence. Yes, eventually, for one reason or another, you're not going to share what you have to offer.
Okay, what could you do?
If you disagree with feedback, we all know performance reviews are ridiculous anyway.
Yes.
Which we will talk about on the show throughout. But for this example, if you disagree with something, you may not be able to think of all of your data off the top of your head. Although when we do talk about performance reviews, you really do want to come with good examples of how you've performed well. But let's just say, worst case scenario, you know that they're not right. You know that this feedback isn't correct, but you don't have examples handy. You can start with broad stroke retorts to say, you mentioned that I don't provide enough solutions. This is something I work really diligently at and have assessed for myself that I actually do. Let's talk about specifics where you thought I fell short on this so I can better understand. That gives you time to get your bearings.
Okay.
And then it puts it back on them.
Right. Yes. Explain it to me. Yeah, that was very helpful. Let's get into the next one. Regret and resentment. Here's what can happen. Over time, you may look back on missed chances to stand up for yourself, feeling regret for not advocating what you deserve. The consequence is that this internal frustration can turn into resentment, either towards yourself or your colleagues, and it can negatively impact your relationships and mental health.
Think about your personal relationships. When you were a kid, if somebody bullied you and you let it go, or you are what you feel is an unfair household where there's a favorite sibling, or you've dated somebody or been in a relationship with a partner where you don't speak up for yourself, and then later they do something or say something that feels unfair, and all of that will rise to the surface in your mind.
Right.
It's okay if they are late and don't clean the dishes, but if I do it, it's those statements that are showing you that you regret marrying them and you resent them. At work, it could be something like we talked about in the last example. You stop sharing, you stop volunteering. So maybe there's a project that you would have liked to be a part of, but you think, I'm not going to even bother. And then it's a huge success and you know you could have contributed. And when everybody's giving accolades to the team on the project, you were like, I could have been a part of that. And I wasn't. So you'll start to resent that you didn't.
Well, I mean, I say this all the time, but you read a ton of books and articles on all these topics. So I wrote up some interview questions and I'd love to put you in the hot seat. Are you up for it?
I mean, who could say no to that?
All right. So I'm glad we're breaking down this topic into a series so we can organize the information for our listeners, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with what feels like for people when they aren't sure if self-advocacy can help them at work. Can you talk to me about that?
You're going to feel like you have no control, no power. And I think the biggest thing you'll feel is, I don't even know what to do or how to act or what my answer would be, even if I wanted to play along with this game that everyone seems to know the rules of that I don't. You're just confused. Why do I even have to do this? Why is this even necessary for me to self-advocate? If it were fair here, or it were positive, or the playing field was level, then I would be able to just be myself, work hard, contribute in a way, and I would be rewarded for it. It seems unnecessary. So it's very confusing. You're feeling like whether I do well or I don't, it's a why bother. So I think just the need for self-advocating and what that feels like is just a swirl of confusion and negativity.
Right. Yeah. You talk about company culture. So how much does that influence the need to self-advocate?
Whether you're in a startup or a huge company, the norms, the quote unquote norms, people feel obligated to match their coworkers. If people stay late, then it's like, oh, you only work till 7?
That's so annoying.
Or if they are on answering emails at all hours, it almost becomes cool to, I answered an email at 1:30.
I'm like always on my email.
And it's because it's the norm in the culture, then just getting yourself back to any sort of work-life balance, it creates a reason to have to self-advocate. Actually, in one of Colin Powell's leadership books, he talked about how he was the example for this. He wouldn't stay late. He wouldn't work weekends because he wanted to show it was not his expectation for others to stay late. And without leaders like that, people are left confused and tired, and they don't know, should I speak up or shrug off, follow along? And the norm is just accepted. So you're overworking or you're self-advocating.
Are there any other factors at play?
Think of the people around you at work who you don't really have any respect for. They're not hard workers. They're not really great at their job, but they're a total legend in their own mind. They talk like they are just the best thing ever. They're self-advocating and they're doing great in their mind. And usually you fall into one or two camps, unfortunately. You're either really good at doing your job or you're really good at talking about how great you are at your job. So if you're great at doing your job, you don't need to, but if you want to feel better, it's not bragging about yourself, it's advocating for yourself, letting people know what you're doing well. And then another main factor, I think, to really bring this to light is there's a book called The Peter Principle by Lawrence Peter and Raymond Hull. And it talks about how employees tend to get promoted until they reach their level of incompetence. Okay. And so if you think about what makes a great school teacher and what you would hire somebody for if they were good at that, it's very different than what would be a great administrator or a principal. And when you're a school teacher and you get promoted, you would be going into administration.
Right.
So I'm using this example on purpose because I think it really illustrates what I think to be the most important factor in helping people realize that they need to self-advocate.
Can you tell us more?
Figure out what you truly want. If you think about the example I just gave about being a school teacher and you're offered a promotion, you have to have a really good understanding of yourself to say no to a promotion. You just know yourself well enough to know that you'd be miserable being a principal or being an administrator, then self-advocating is graciously saying, thank you so much. However, being a teacher is where I want to be.
I would think that would be really hard for a lot of people to turn it down, because there's that drive in us that's like, no, I should want to accelerate in my career and I should do this. This is a great opportunity. But you're right. That is important to figure out what you truly want and to stick with it. That's going to build up your confidence.
It depends on what you want. If you
Right.
truly want to be happy and you want your life to keep progressing in the direction that is best for you in your true self, then getting to know to the nth degree where you want to go can evolve all the time. But what's your truth? If you keep going toward your truth and self-advocating for your truth, then in that equation is turning down a promotion if it's not where you truly want to go. And the lack of ego that takes is all swirled into this equation as well.
Yeah.
And in thinking about the direction, I'm reminding myself of my father right now.
Oh, I love this. I love a good TCB example.
I'm not sure if he actually said this to me, but I know he would say this to me. But
Can you
I
do
won't
it in his voice,
I was
please?
just going to say, I won't do it in his voice.
Please do it in his voice. Please, please, please.
We'll bust out the voice another time, but I
All
really
right.
don't want it to take away from what I'm saying, because I think this could be so helpful to people. I'm just laughing because the voice is very charming. But
Yes.
if a plane sets its navigation 1 degree off course, according to the 1 in 60 rule in aviation, it will be 1 mile off course for every 60 miles it flies. So what that means is that small degree of error can result in a significant deviation from the target destination over long distances.
Yes.
You can't advocate for yourself if you don't know where you want to go.
So you got to figure that out.
And you have to do the work. You don't have to do any of this. If you want to live your truth and if you want to advocate for your truth, then there's a lot that goes. This is all of what. Then I don't know why you're listening to this podcast, because
They were listening for the chips.
if you've made it this far, then this is what we're all about. We don't want to do what everyone thinks we should do. It is, if you want to live your truth, self-advocating is a huge topic in that, and knowing where you want to go is absolutely step 1. And you have to remember what you're not going to get. So turning down a promotion, you don't get all the praise and the accolades.
So what's the very first thing our listeners can do to get clarity?
What are your strengths?
Okay.
There is a great book. Actually, I looked on Amazon, and this book, it's called Now Discover Your Strengths by Don Clifton, and it doesn't have great reviews. And I'm still going to sing its praises because I read this book.
Don, you did a great job.
An homage to Don.
Don, I feel so much stronger. Sorry. That's one of my strengths. Okay, let's get back to Don.
I just was thinking how this is the epitome of nerding out. And Jenny, thank you for joining me. Oh, what are you guys doing? We're writing homage to Don Clifton.
Clifton.
He's a leader in strengths-based psychology. It's him and Taylor Swift.
There, right up there.
I don't know where you've been.
Is Don going on tour? Because we'll be there.
Merry Christmas, front row tickets, Don Clifton.
Love that Christmas gift.
You know I would. Like a Swiftie. This bracelet.
We got our Don friendship bracelet.
And I'm going to put empathy on it because that's one of my strengths. Oh, Don.
All right, tell us more about Don.
Okay, Cliff's notes of the book is you can work from your strengths. he divides it into very much like Myers-Briggs and tests about getting to know yourself better, just what we were talking about before: achiever, activator, empathy, futuristic, strategic. I won't get into what they mean. The point is, you can use it as your guide to choose projects, to choose your profession, to know where you want your profession to go. And these insights can help you focus and advocate for yourself. I actually used this book in my career, and not to get into too much detail, but in my corporate life, I had very good luck and a lot of wonderful bosses who thought highly of me, and they were really interested in me progressing up the chain into leadership. I knew that's not something that I wanted, so I did go into management roles, but the work that I did developed into coaching. And the reason that I'm here talking to all of you is because I kept in mind, what are my strengths? And my strengths are to make people clear on what's good for themselves and to cheerlead them into finding their truth, the essence of what we're talking about today, and the courage to keep on that path that may not always be traditional. So understanding who you are and what you truly want is absolutely the first step in knowing what you want to advocate for in the first place.
Yes, I love that. I think it's awesome because advocating for yourself can seem like you're the victim, right? And this approach makes you feel more empowered and in control of your future.
Yes, it's all about staying true to yourself. If you advocate for things that you think you should, you're going to end up in a position that you don't love in the first place. And then it's not all working together. If you stay true to yourself and find strengths that could add value at work, for example, you could end up creating a position for yourself that your boss didn't even know they needed on the team because of what you've carved out for yourself and how you're contributing. It used to be that you could only be promoted because you were going to lead people. If you can find ways to contribute in something that works for you, then it could lead you to a path that wasn't even available before you made it.
I just want to say that you are a great example of carving out and creating new positions when you're with a company. You do that all the time, and I'm always amazed by it because I'm like, how did she do that? She just convinced them? And I'm like, oh, maybe I could do that.
You can.
I know, but you present it in such a better way than I would be able to.
I could help you, Jenny.
I know you can.
I found an article on Indeed related to this topic if you want to chat through it with me.
Yeah.
All right. I'm thinking about how to find out what you're good at, your strengths, all the stuff we've been chatting about here. They say number 1 is to reflect on your past accomplishments and feedback that you've received.
Okay.
Think about memorable moments from your past.
Oh my God.
Take a journey, influential conversations, people who have praised your character. What skills helped me thrive? What makes me feel more capable? What traits do I have that distinguish me from my peers as a child? What compliments do I ignore? All of them.
Yeah.
What positive feedback do I receive from others?
None.
Yeah. I think this is similar to the think about what your friend would say. We talked about this in a different episode, but it's really, you have so much clutter in your brain from minimizing your strengths, passing things off that you're good at as, oh, everyone can do that. And we don't really accentuate or live in the space of what we're great at, especially as empathetic, genuine people. It's not the norm.
Right.
And because we're so tuned into all the details that we don't always tune in to these great parts.
Right.
Let's use you as an example, Jenny. Let's do an on the spot example.
Yes. Yes.
Think about And not the joke list from the beginning of the episode,
Okay.
but think about
Serious.
serious conversations you've had or memories you've had where you've realized, oh, this is something I'm good at. Can you name one thing?
Okay. So I will take a recent example. Yeah. Just this week. Recent.
Hot off the press.
Hot off. I was covering for my coworker, and I think she has the most amazing communication style. She's just
Okay.
so detailed and warm. And so I always try to emulate how she would type up an email, the overall vibe. I always try to model myself of what she does. So I was interacting with her candidates and hiring managers. She comes back and she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And she was just singing my praises. And I was just, yeah, I don't see it, but and it didn't even hit me. I brushed it off. You're just being nice because I covered for you. She kept going on and on
about your great work.
Yeah, it's just average.
This is the perfect example because compliments you ignore. I know your work and I know her, and you're both amazing in different ways, but it's the same result. And so it's a wonderful compliment to her that you try and emulate her communication style, but yours is just as strong in a different way. But I think what you're realizing is that you're praised for your work ethic, number 1, your diligence, number 2, your reliability, number 3, your way with people, number 4, your problem solving, number 5. Those are all of the things that would make you great to have as an employee. Now, if you think about what you're good at, I just gave you all of what those qualities are that I think that you have that she was complimenting. Can you see that that is accurate?
Yes, I can see that that is accurate.
Okay. And then how well do you think you'd advocate for those qualities about yourself?
If I'm being honest, I wouldn't really advocate that.
Right. So, well, there was no right answer, but since it happens to be true, then that is the point. Being good at it, you don't think about that every day. You don't sit and think about your strengths. So this literally could be an exercise that you would do, how to find out what you're good at. You're good at that stuff in your job every day,
Right.
but thinking about it and using it, not so much.
No.
Okay. So you just proved that step 1 is a worthwhile exercise. Thank you, Indeed.
Thanks, indeed.
Great article.
That was a great article.
All right. Now, we're going to continue on with, we're going to call it the Jenny principle.
Okay.
Identify what you love to do. If you enjoy doing something, you may be good at it because of all of the effort you've dedicated to it. Think of the things you love to do and see if they lead to tangible skills. For example, if you enjoy writing, you may have an aptitude for proofreading and detecting errors in others' work. Oh, I've worked with you.
I've
Errors.
worked with you. Multiple yous.
Multiple you and you.
The
and
youths.
you the youths. I'm looking at you, Mark.
Yeah.
From 2005. All right. Identifying what you love to do. I see you as someone who loves to help.
Yes.
You're in human resources. I think that you have to do a lot of helping in your current role, right?
Yes, I do.
However, the fact that we're sitting here doing this together also adds in your creativity. And part of what you're doing now is following your dream of us doing this podcast, doing this business, helping others.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And the creativity of all that we need to do to make our messages not boring so people don't fall asleep on us.
That's right.
So as you can see, everyone, Jenny is really a living Indeed article. She's doing all of what she needs to do to find her strengths and use it as her guide because
Thank
she's going to
you.
follow her truth.
Thank you. Do you think Don would be proud of me?
Don from the book.
Yeah,
Don
from the
Clifton.
book. Don Clifton. What other Don would I be talking about?
Let's ask him when we're in front row at his concert that he's not giving. I think he would be so proud of you. He would say, now, work from your strengths. And you like, I am Don.
And I might read that book, Don. I might read it.
Or I might ask Allie for what
I'm probably going to just ask her.
What chapter 9 was all about. What did we do in chapter 9? Tell us all about it. All right. The final one in the Jenny Principle. This is making me so happy that we're calling it the Jenny Principle. It'll probably be like 30 Jenny Principles. Devote time to improving your skills you already know you have. Set small and attainable goals to keep yourself accountable and find a routine that you can maintain. Measure your improvements to see whether you're developing the skills more easily. Some humility and willingness to learn can turn your inquiry into a hobby. A hobby can turn into a passion, and a passion can turn into a career. For example, imagine you have a natural aptitude for coding. I mean, how would you even know you have a natural aptitude?
I know. What?
Okay, let me give you a better example. Indeed,
Please.
you were doing good, but then you lost us.
Come on.
Hobby turns into a passion, turns into a career. Okay. I think a restaurant owner is the best example of that.
Okay.
Passion for cooking, passion for feeding people, or maybe Francesco Rinaldi, you make a sauce.
Maybe you're Skip Murphy and you just created one of the best sauces ever.
Maybe you're Papa Ragu, Mr. Prego.
Maybe you're Chef Boyardee.
You are the Olive Garden. You can be Mr. Olive Garden, but I think it is true. Doing more of what you're good at, even if it doesn't lead to a career, I think it's totally worthwhile because doing things that make you happy and improving your skills, we all know the reason we're doing this podcast is because work is stressful. There's always things that are coming up in work and your life. So if you do more of what you love, even if you have to navigate your day job work stress, it's going to make you feel better and it's going to bring a better you to every area of your life. And how can that be bad?
It's not. Not bad at all.
Yeah, getting to know yourself, getting to know your strengths, and finding any which way you can weave them into your world is definitely the way to go in my book, at least.
And in Don's book.
Don's literal book.
Yes.
And I think it was a great thank you for being the example, Jenny Principle, because I think it was a great live thing for us to do where I know your work and you're amazing in all these different ways. And then you had an example so handy that was so recent that talked about how it's easy to dismiss the things that you're good at, even when people tell you that you're good at them.
Yeah.
We don't want people to do that. We want you to embrace it. Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Know how wonderful you are in all the ways that you're wonderful.
Yes. It's really inspiring. Know yourself. Get to know you.
And we're going to continue this conversation. Like I mentioned, this is a 3-part series. So buckle up.
Gosh. Yes.
I can't wait to dive into more next week with all of you. And also remember to think about what you want to be called. Our amazing listeners, lovelies, besties.
Right.
So many. Our anxious achievers.
And if you want us to taste test anything.
Right.
Any new products out there.
Thank you for being with us today. We can't wait to hang out again soon. And in the meantime, we love you.
We love you. Thanks for hanging.